So we're setting up a structure. When we're done with this, I would expect a person to be able to say, I know how to do this practice. Well, tell me, can you tell me how to do this practice? And a person would, if they can explain it to me, I'd be like, okay, now just tell yourself that when you're doing it. Because then now you start teaching yourself, you start reminding yourself, and that's a form of declaration. You're declaring it to yourself. We actually do this, whether you know it or not, whether you pay attention. Human beings spend a lot of time declaring that they're not good enough, declaring that other people are wrong and that they're right, that they're better and that they're worse. There's a lot of declaring going on in the human experience, but it's just like everything else. It's a leaf at the mercy of the wind. It's wishy and it's washy and it's all over the place. And sometimes it makes no sense and sometimes it's just straight up destructive. So all I've done is taken an element that's happening anyway, and I've focused it in a way that can benefit me and help me to stay more present, to help me to stay more self-aware, to help me feel more inner peace, and ultimately to help cultivate states of being that I can only cultivate in the gaps between thought. That's an inconvenient truth. There are certain states of being that are only accessible in certain states of being, and we in the gaps between thought. And that's when we have felt them accidentally. We would call those brushes with spirit back in the day. We would feel those brushes of spirit when we, in one way or another, set up the conditions necessary to create those gaps, usually context disarrangement, now that we're super familiar with that word. We create some sort of context disarrangement that helps to create the space in the word. So it's happening to people all over the world every day anyway. All we're doing now is just taking this thing and we're using it in a way that can help benefit us and other people. So the declaration is just a very important part of the practice, and I can't imagine not having it. I still use it now. I still want to make sure that I have my practice set up. I want to make sure that things are declared. When I go into the shower, I declare my points of attention because they're different. I have shower points of attention. I have flossing my teeth points of attention. That's another thing we talk about is that situational. We have segmenting or segments of your day. We have things where we prepare for potential challenges that we might call, just challenges. That's fine. It's just challenging. Areas where we typically would introduce much more resistance, and we would go even further below the threshold of active recognition and more, therefore, into a habitual response.